snowball this board and take advantage of it. I personally like the Stegodon right now because you can get the Death Rattle buff, which will give you the 1/1s on Death Rattle. You get the health buff, which really forces Renojackson to have to pay specific attention to those minions in particular, but not really the biggest if you end up getting, like, say, the plus attack here. Maybe you get, clear off the mini bot in time, or maybe you just use it to push extra damage. But, using these minions offensively means that Renojackson now has an opportunity to take advantage of having the dudes on board.
I agree with your thought process. I think, process-oriented is the way to go. Unfortunately, it didn't work out for Raypeko that time, but you're right. There are so many ways to generate extra health, extra bodies on the board. I think Lightfuse Stegodon was the right play. Crystal Lion, while a little bit stuck in hand, you do have the Dry Gulch Jailer, which will generate a bunch of recruits later on to get
Crystal Lion, so he's free to assault this board however he sees fit. This changes that, though.
Crystal Lion's going to come down to match, but now it's not like you're putting yourself significantly far behind, but Renojackson nodding, shaking his head. That Quartermaster is going to completely change the look of this game and might just seal it up for him.
Yeah, big turn for Renojackson. I mean, this is about as substantial as it gets, and no dudes in play for Raypeko, and that's about all she wrote. I can't think of a way he could even
presence. So unfortunately, it'd have to be something like Call to Arms, Knife Juggler, but then all of these Silverhand recruits are all 3/3s.
Right.
So that time's passed.
So I go back and I look at the turn where he played Lightfuse Stegodon and chose to get aggressive with the little minions. Maybe even just the failure on finding an aggressive outcome should have yielded him a trade anyway. So back at that turn, was it better to play the Lightfuse Stegodon, or was it better to just get the Crystal Lion in play and try to combat the board? I mean, we're looking at a butterfly effect of plays depending on which one of those options he chooses.
Well, in the duel of dude power,
sometimes you do just play it on curve and blow up their entire board, but it's not always as simple as ABC.
It'll be up to Raypeko to put that together. Renojackson seemed to he hit his own forehead after it made sense to me, but then immediately was like, oh, why did I do that? So he must be seeing something that I don't quite see. Great, though. That is a great call to arms. You get a shielded mini-bot on the board. You get a taunting Righteous Protector, and Dry Gulch so recruit heavy.
Now, there's a lot to be said about the fact that you just jam your stuff on board, don't play around it, and when they don't have it, you win the game. Like, that's a totally fine play, but it's just severely punished here, and I'm curious if he had enough gas in the tank to just simply forego that option and maybe find something else. But second lost in the jungle means Stegodon's getting a buff here.
Death Rattle and Taunt both look pretty interesting.
Yeah, I'm looking at the Deathst. Huh. He's got different plans in mind.
Let's see where he's going with this. Definitely want to get the Dustbreaker off the board. And they do both trigger Divine Shields.
Oh, that just escaped my mind that the Divine Shields came onto the plants as well.
Yeah, so
yeah, this is way better.
So now that a second Dustbreaker is not looking nearly as good, you have to get rid of the Steward of Darkness, and now stand against Darkness. Or
Steward of Dark.
Vine Cleaver comes down, is going to put the last two troops on the board. He's got to try to maintain some amount of recruits to make these Quartermasters effective. Although on turn 8 next turn, even if the board gets wiped, you've got Muster for Battle into Quartermaster in a pretty scary board state.
Yeah, this has been quite a long fight for the board that's been taking place, and this is kind of what I meant by Dustbreaker just being an important tool, but the timing of it being paramount. Renojackson's had multiple opportunities to use Dustbreaker to some effect, but it's when that effect is the most powerful that matters more often than anything else. And so right now, you look at this board, Dustbreaker looks super appealing, but in this spot, Raypeko's going to get a payoff still.
What a Twilight Guardian off the top of the deck. Turn 8. Exactly 8 mana to play, not just the board.
Vine Cleaver is what I'm thinking. You have 2 Quartermasters in hand. I think you go ahead and take the hero power. You get 6 extra attack and health from this Quartermaster in addition to the 2/5. I mean, that's an 8/13 of stats for 5 mana plus the hero power. It's just really not getting much better than that.
And most importantly, he doesn't have any more Dustbreakers, so that board of 3/3s is not nearly as vulnerable as it might have been a few turns ago.
They'd have to rely on the Netherspite Historian at that point.
Another great top deck for Renojackson, though, because the Twilight Whelp turns on the Draconid Operative.
Yeah, I mean, it's a big deal to have every single resource at this point. Renojackson's got a long way to go if he's going to choke out Raypeko in this set, and this turn is going to be massive. I mean, we are looking at...
Nobody reloads the board like Paladin.
Oh, it's so
just-
good.
They never run out of stuff. It's unbelievable.
And even more little dudes available. Duskbreaker, if you do, sure. If you don't, you're sunk.
Quartermaster comes in, puts another +4/+4 on the board. That is a terrifying board for Raypeko here against Renojackson. He has a divine favor
Oh
hand
my.
too. Oh no.
This is massive for Renojackson.
Wow.
You just mentioned that there's no Spellbreaker. This is probably an important time to note that Renojackson knows there's no Spellbreaker either. The deck lists are open in this format, and there's no equality either. If the attacks, nothing important is going to die. And this is it. I mean, Raypeko really needs to draw exactly Sunkeeper Tarim.
So you tap the top of the deck. Good luck. Oh, we got Crystal Lion instead. Divine Favor pretty much.
That is a huge draw for Renojackson right now. Is you've secured the board position. You're not taking damage. Your stuff's not going to die. He needs to compound this issue and get out of this as quickly as possible.
Oh, wow. Nether Spike can draw into exactly what you need. Another Draconid, or do you go Deathwing here?
Well, he spent 5 mana so far, I believe.
Fairy Dragon.
Oh, look at this. This is a wonderful time to get aggressive. I mean, your opponent's quite low on life because of how aggressively they were attacking your minions. And that's not a Sunkeeper Tarim. And Renojackson completely shuts down the attack from Raypeko.
I get it. No cards in hand, too. So you turn off the Divine Favor with the Fairy Dragon as well. Like, all right.
2-0 lead.
Wow, Renojackson. One of the fan favorites, one of the most respected of those three.
Yeah, I mean, the absolute worst outcome for him would have been had he not drawn Mal'Ganis and he found exactly Void Lord Mal'Ganis from the Sense Demons. Quite a low percent chance to happen, but Death Spite is a very welcome draw for Reno, who's now got so much pressure rolling. Taunt minions. He's going to use the Spellbreaker right away. Put Raypeko to the test.
Oh, Raypeko shakes his head. I think he knows. Renojackson, almost kind of anticlimactic here, is about to win this game in 6 short turns.
And there's nothing that Raypeko can really do to stop this. And he gets a trade over the Void Lord, but look at how much damage he's staring down with nothing to do. The Molten Giant could be a saving grace from his perspective, but we see the damage in Renojackson's hand. Shadow Flame feels as though it's his only option. Renojackson gonna 3-0, move on to the finalist of his bracket, and be coming to California to compete for that share of $25,000.
Unbelievable performance by Renojackson. We said that Pirate Warrior had 3 opportunities to close this match out, just needed 1, and only 6 turns.